It's always good to get a few classics in. Hello everybody, welcome to the weekly Steelchair. I hope you're all well. Everyone, of course, is welcome on this channel. Anytime, any place. Evening, night, day, dawn. Wrestling long behold. What a night we have in store, don't we? Yes, indeedy, boy. Welcome to Glenn. Welcome to Zodiac. Hello. We have quite the conversation tonight, don't we? And we have a new predictions champion. What's up, Larbark? Looney Tunes, eh? Very old school. Very old school. You could say that's a goosebump. Ladies and gentlemen, I seem to have talked something into its existence. I think I seem to have ensured the success of a faction. I'm rather concerned by that. My own words on this show last night have come back to haunt me. And haunt me indeed. But I'll ask the obvious question. How did everyone feel watching Dominion? If you've watched it, of course. Yes, I love Looney Tunes, grew up watching it as a child. Yeah, that's right, the classics never go away and they do get better. You reap what you sow. Yes, I talked the success of House of Torture into this show. I really have. I have made House of Torture better than before by saying the words, I think the House of Torture are going to dominate this pay-per-view. And dominate they did. I would like to point out the results across the prediction stream are very, very interesting. The winner was not me, but I did come in second place. I came in second place because I chose to, even though I said it into existence, I went against it. And also, I went in faith of someone that I really like and thought that maybe they would hold on a little bit longer and then eventually they would drop to the rightful guy. But then I also said, in the weirdest way, I said to everybody, don't count your chickens on Bolt and Oleg. I said it last night, this guy is great. And what happened? That man has changed the game. For the manner of it, we have a lot to cover, and this is going to be a great one, but I have not watched the Animaniacs in years, but I do like the parodies of them when they do the geography episode, when they're pointing at the world map. I do find that really funny. And it's a great theme song. Animaniacs. crazy. To think, when you look at it, that was over 30 years ago. And it ended a year after I was born. It's wild. Who was your favourite character? My favourite character was the Doc. Well, I called him Doc, but everyone knows him as Doc. But Doc was so cool. See if I can get like a little wee... If I can get like a wee gif of the Animaniacs, I'll play one. What can I find? Oh yeah, I remember that episode when they talked about Michelle Pfeiffer. This is how you answer a question when someone says, "What professional wrestler are you talking about?" If someone says to you, "Who's XYZ?" just use this. Instead of going, "Who?" which is kind of rude. Who? Just say, "I've got no idea who that is." It's a polite way to say, "I don't know, but I suppose I can find out." Let's see, can I find... To be fair, two of my favourite shows, I still... that was Guard. That was Guard, I'm pretty sure. There's a great show that I used to watch growing up, and I still own the box set. This and one other, but I used to watch these all the time growing up. Yo, karate! I loved this show growing up. This, amongst several others. My face when I'm watching a fucking John Cena match. But this is the OG. What a show. I've got that box set still as well. I've got all these. You'll never find a more Richard scum. Richard had a scum and villainy. We must be cautious. Ben Kenobi. Oh yeah, Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, Stingray, they were OGs. We'll never find a more Richard Hyde of scum and villainy. Team America is funny. I never seem to remember owning a droid. Very interesting. 2 seconds, guys. 2 seconds. Yes, indeed. If it's a fast ship. A fast ship? You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? Should I have? I can quote a lot of fucking films. Like the Green Goblin monologue, for example. Don't ask. I can just do it. But, yes, so... Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to see... actually, before we do, I just want to check. Actually, instead of checking, we're going to see. We're going to have a look and see if we can find some news. Right. I do have an update, obviously, on the G1, which I'll be covering. Which I think you guys are going to be very interested in. But there's so much more. Right, what am I looking for? Yeah, I didn't watch SmackDown, so that bit of news is bloody weird. Right, let's see. So, so the line is, so Obi-Wan is sitting there, and then Luke goes, "Who is she? She's beautiful." So it's Luke that says it. Not realizing what he's talking about, of course, but yeah. Right, so let's see. Nothing special there. Hikuleo debuted on SmackDown after 1 year signed to WWE, which is absolutely stupid. John Cena's Mount Rushmore is himself 4 times, which is delusional. Ron Killings attacked Cena, then Cena thought it was funny and turned his hat back and tried to become all Dr. Thugonomics when no one cares. Nothing special here. Nothing special. Seriously can't stand these little cunts. I want to headbutt them all. For some reason we're getting a non-title match between Ron Killings and Cena next week. This company is brain dead. But, yeah. So, that's the shite for WWE. Nothing special. Yeah, it's very weird. It's very fucking weird. I tell you what. See, before we do that, before we actually do the main review, let's reverse the show. Let's reverse the show. Yeah, Cena's gonna squash him in like 5 minutes. Let's have some fun. Let's do a Q&A before we do the review. And then we'll do one again at the very end. Consider me a kind omen. 30 minutes. And then we'll do the review. And then we'll come back to Q&A at the very end. Ask away, my friends. And I'll tell you as well at the end who won the prediction stream as well. And they will have James to answer for at the next prediction show. Instead of the TNT title, would you rather see Takeshita Fletcher dethrone the Hearst Syndicate? Because that seems like a much better plan to me, but I'm an idiot. I actually don't mind that at all. But that depends on if they're willing to let Takeshita do it, because they seem to keep him in, like, just tag for tag purposes, but he's mainly a single star. That wouldn't be a bad idea, though. That wouldn't be a bad idea. I wouldn't object to that. Even though I chose Takeshita, I did tell you guys don't look down on Bolton Oleg. Dream announce team, 3 announcers, living or dead. Alright. Jim Ross, Bobby Heenan, Mike Tenay. I've got all of that for you. I've got all the guys ready for it. Nah. He isn't in my top. He isn't in my best 3. If I had a dream announce table, Mauro Ronaldo doesn't even get in my top 3. He's not even in my top 5. Great guy, but nah. I would honestly have 5 people on an announce table just for entertainment. I'd have a big long table with my 5 favourite commentators. Oh, he does give that nostalgia. I think where he already is, though, is established. Great commentator, though. But he's not my outstanding favourite. JR, Heenan, Heyman would be cool. Heyman and Callis wouldn't work. I don't think Heyman and Callis would work. Not saying that they're bad commentators or anything like that, I'm not. I'm just saying I don't think they would work because they're so similar. And you need to have a bit of a split. Whereas if you put JR with Mike Tenay, you've got vast knowledge of every facet of the business. And men that can also tell the ring story perfectly and get talent over. And Bobby Heenan can just be an absolute shit stirrer as a heel and still give his knowledge. That's what I love most about those 3. You would have it was more or less 2 babyfaces and a heel commentary team. But then I would switch up in between shows. So if I was doing like a 2-hour show, I would have those 3 on commentary. And then my backup duo, which I really love to death. My backup duo is Don West. Don West, obviously, rest in peace. Same as Bobby Heenan, rest in peace. I would have Don West, and that point there, I would have Gorilla Monsoon. That's my 5 favourite commentators of all time. Tony Schiavone, 6th on the list. Unless I went to back-to-back triple teams, then I'd have Schiavone with Monsoon and Dom West. But it's hard because Dom West and Mike Tenay are my favourite team ever. They're my favourite broadcast team. JR's just my favourite in general. Joey Styles hard to leave out as well. Fernando, speak of the devil. ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to give a big round of applause. Fernando was our predictions winner. I think so, Fletch. He beat me by a point. Fernando edged me out because I chose Yota Tsuji. I would have tied him. And it would have, if I tied him, then the belt would have stayed with James. But yes, Fernando, you are the predictions winner. So we'll see if you can hold on to it at the next event. Do you think Takeshita wins a G1? Nope. Nope. Despite their opposing regional backgrounds, with Jim Ross from the south and Paul Heyman from the north, they share a common trait: unparalleled passion as commentators. Oh yeah. I'll say this, I thought their team in 2001 was excellent. But when they worked in the early 90s, they together in NWA WCW. Damn. We cooked at that time. I don't think Takeshita wins the G1, but I think he goes far. I think he gets maybe semi-finals, but I don't think he wins. I'm very eager to see who the play-in winners are, though, which we're going to discuss, obviously. Fernando got 3 matches wrong in a row. And then clinched it in the final 2. Yeah, they're a good companionship together. They do like it. Jim Ross with Jim Cornette was not too bad either. In late 98, 99. Don't worry, I've gave him his flowers, don't worry. And like every new champion, they get the new color. Enjoy Fernando, because on July 12th at All In Texas, the Prediction Championship is coming home. Yes, but remember, there's more to that. So the Prediction Championship is going to be up the grabs most in July, because we are going to do something different. I'm going to make a ruling. So, remember, Night of Champions is in 2 weeks' time. So Fernando does not have to defend the title at that event because we won't be covering it. So Fernando is safe. Which means Fernando, you, sir, have a big challenge. Because you, on your first title defense, must defend. I feel bad for him. He's not gonna like this. And I feel like I'm such the villain here. Yeah. Okay. So this is how it's gonna be. I'm going to put it in the chat so you can see this. This is the challenge in the chat. Fernando must defend the Predictions Championship at Saturday night's main event, Evolution 2, and All in Texas, as they're all a day apart. So, Fernando, you must do it at all three. The person with the most predictions successful will be the champion across all three events. Evolution 2 is July 13th. Hello, Maria. How are you? What do you say, Fernando? Are you in or are you out? Are you in or are you out? And remember, you guys, you still have a Q&A before we even get to the main review. Fernando says he's in. Good man. So it's going to be a lot harder now. But you defend this. And so if you do this, you retain your title. You then have to defend the Slammiversary. I will give you a free pass for one successful event only if you retain. If you don't retain, like if you win the free and then don't retain at Slammiversary, then I will not grant you immunity from SummerSlam. Evolution 2 is that second female event for WWE's women's division. I don't think they're going to even care about it, to be honest, but we'll still have to cover it. Contract signing next week. But yes, do you guys have any other wrestling questions you want to ask? Ooh. Ooh. It was awkward. Do you think LA Knight has peaked? That's a great question. And the answer is yes. I think he has, and I think he's now going to be properly overlooked even further now. He has to run the gauntlet. Mm-hmm. That's true. Will Athena get a match at All In? I would assume so. I think they might have a Ring of Honor title or two up for grabs. I don't think she's going to have much to do, but Supercard of... Oh, Fernando, you are proper fucked. I just realised something for Fernando, and that's actually not good. Fernando's actually even more screwed. I think... Yeah. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Ladies and gentlemen, Fernando doesn't have 3 events to be victorious at. He has 4. You certainly are. So you have July 11th, July 12th, and July 13th. Because I will do Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor. Yeah, I think Fernando's gonna start hating me soon. I wouldn't blame him. Really, I would not blame him if he starts to hate me. Oh. That was awkward. Hit the wrong button. Okay. We didn't really get a lot of questions left, so I will clear that for now. And I'll stop sharing, we'll come back to it. But we may as well ask the obvious question. Let me hear it. What did you guys think of Dominion? Straight in, Maria goes, great show. If only you were here, I think you would have beaten Fernando in the prediction stream, but you were missed yesterday. I'm assuming you were busy yesterday, Maria, which is okay. It was just disappointing to Keshta. Yeah, I got a feeling you're not going to let this go, are you? Only thing I felt 100% good about. Fair enough. That's understandable. Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready to get into it? Are we ready to review Dominion? My sister had her baby. Oh, congratulations. Yo, what's up, Billy? Okay. Right then. Ladies and gentlemen, let us proceed with our review. Obviously, get your own comments in, ladies and gentlemen. Give me your own thoughts if you've managed to watch this event. Like, for each match, let me know what you think. I, for one, hate the fact that I spoke House of Torture dominance into existence. But it certainly has happened. And I'm going to show you as well. These are all your... What's up, Roy Sheen? Not too bad. Yourself? Oh yeah, I'm glad that he didn't win either, because it would have been a bad idea. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your predictions from those who took part. As I said, I did finish second. Very close all throughout. Now, I did get a sneaky suspicion about that 8-man tag between Bullet Club and House of Torture. Zodiac, you were wise to change your prediction ahead of time. And rightly so. Main show does begin with Ren Narita Sanada and Yujihiro Takahashi with their surprise member Bad Luck Fail. And he did not disappoint. They emerged from backstage as they were ready to take on Bullet Club War Dogs members Chase Owens, Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney and Taijiri Ishimori. We were absolutely gifted some entertainment in this match, and we were shafted as well. So, we were gifted with Sanada looking like Giant Gonzalez, which is bizarre. And of course, the big man, Bad Luck Fail. He did something that really pissed off in the way. You did, but you were right to stick on one. You made one big change that really did you a big favor. So, Bad Luck Fail is the new member of House of Torture. He's been rechristened to Don Fail. Like, going forward, he will be called Don Fail. He also wasn't the only twist in the House of Torture Bullet Club War Dogs war of... Oh, I call it a war of nerves now. Never-ending rivalry. Lo and behold, this rivalry will never fucking end. Sanada, of course, he is the the fashion monster. Like, he's on a mad one right now when it comes to his look and his design, which I'm really impressed with. Don Fail, he was a member of Bullet Club for 12 years. He is, of course, bolted from the faction. Didn't do much work for Takahashi. Yo, what's up, Abu? Good to see you, mate. Most of this match you would see contest between Fail and Maloney, especially on the outside of the ring, which Chase Owens tried to stop, or did he? It then got to the point where we got a Jeep flip and the use of a tire iron. Insanity. Maloney would use a spine buster on Sanada, but he countered that into a magic screw from the top rope. Maloney would then assist Owens, but at that point, the infamous low blow. Chase Owens has betrayed the Bullet Club and has joined the House of Torture. 2 new members of the clan. I was gobsmacked by that. Like, that really shocked me. I did not see that coming. It just shows how good this faction is. It was very close until all the main roster fuckery kicked in. The War Dogs are now at their weakest point. Yeah, they got ruined. They got ruined heavy. The House of Torture are now gaining members by the events. They're picking up steam. Evil needs all the strength he can get going into the G1, which obviously is a month away. This is big for him. He was in dominant fashion later on in the show as well, which we're going to talk about. But the reality is, 2 big members now in the House of Torture, whereas the Bullet Club are even weaker. And now you've got David Finlay out for a while. Questions will certainly be asked going forward. Up next, it's the black locks of Shota Umino, the black locks that surround his hair, teaming up with El Phantasmo. Again, ELP, the Ring of Honor World Television Champion, knows no bounds when it comes to working short but fast burst pace to matches in general, whether it be on TV or pay-per-view. I'm a huge fan of Ryohei Oiwa, and I've said it to you, don't count this guy out. Like, he may not have the ability or the appeal yet of Tanahashi, but he looks like Tanahashi. You can tell that he molds himself on the ace. And it's a sight to see. Zack Sabre Jr. again. There's nothing that he can't do. His technical ability is second to none. This is honestly one of the best matches on the show. Tornado DDTs we get from Shota on Zack Sabre Jr. Phantasmo obviously protects his tag team partner as well when both men go for moonsaults. The only sad thing for Ryohei Oiwa is at a young age is when you've got not as much experience as your fellow members, you are going to get or show desperation in the ring. He did get desperate and he went for the Doctor Bomb. And he didn't get the pin. So what does Oiwa and Zack Sabre Jr. do? They go back to what brought TMDK to the dance. They went back to sleeper holds, submissions, synchronized moves. They tapped themselves into just being a group rather than being just 2 individuals forced together. They went back to basics. And in the end, it was very obvious how Zack Sabre Jr. is going to win. He likes his very estranged pin attempts. And with double lock, it's over. It's excitement 101. But it's not like we are in for a routine. It's manic, and that's what I love about it. And that's where you're going to get That's where you're going to get a new take on the pro wrestling scene when you see people that are trying different things to try and evolve or stand out. This is one in particular where you see 4 men stand out, and it's a very entertaining match. It's a dominant result, dominant pin. But neither 4 men looked bad. They all shone. And they've all got more championships in their future. But what do you guys think on the opening 2 matches so far? I was at work, so managed to see highlights. New Japan do good shows. Most of the matches don't disappoint, apart from who wins sometimes questionable calls. That's a good way to take it, mate. If you want, obviously, I watch it on New Japan World on my Fire Stick, but let me see. Hold on. I can do you a favour. Ugh. I was gonna say if it was on this, but it's not yet. Damn. I was gonna see if it was on Watch Wrestling, but it's not yet. I was watching it on the. I've got it on my phone linked to my Fire Stick as well, so I was watching it on my way to physio. Well, I watched some of it before I went to physio this morning. I watched the main event when I got back, which was good. But I got all of it, so even better. And the good thing is because I paused it during the Finlay Evil match, it didn't let me skip anything, so I got to do that match, the Gabe Kid versus Tsuji match, and then when I was watching the Shingo match on the way home, and then I got to watch on my first set when I got in, so I got all of it all in one. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Up next, we all knew what was coming, but none of us wrote him off. None of us gave him any disrespect, even though we knew he was going to lose. Is Yuya Uemura challenging the president of New Japan, the Ace, on his retirement farewell tour, Hiroshi Tanahashi. This match was insanely quick, and I'm not kidding. Like, we got, I will tell you. So, the 8-man tag went 6 minutes 44 seconds. The TMDK versus Phantasmo Shota Umino match went 11 minutes 23. Tanahashi versus Yuya Uemura went 9.5 minutes. It was fast. But it was not in the bad way fast that we're not being saturated. It went fast because it protects Tanahashi's knees and it allows Yuya to at least get tested. I think Yuya Uemura is going to be pushed into the TV title division, and I think he might win that this year, if not next year, as a hunch. The Heat Storm is bringing the heat to New Japan, and he's so incredibly gifted, and I like that both men in the best way try to outmaneuver each other with the exact same moves. Double sledges, cross bodies, frog splashes. It was excellent. Now, Tanahashi loves the sling blade. He goes for it, but it gets countered into a deadbolt suplex. But before he can capitalize, he was hit with the Tanahashi Dragon Screw again. Great use of a move. And then the sling blade was launched on Yuya. He hits it spectacularly. It's a great move. I've always liked the sling blade, especially even when it's not as fast as it's slow, but you're dragging the neck down like you're yanking it. It's really effective. Due to his lack of main event experience that Tanahashi has, he put his major experience to the test. He baited Yuya, made him lose his temper, lost control, and because of that, he injured himself. Obviously, it's part of the plan, but he injured his elbow. And because of that, Tanahashi was then able to lock in a dragon suplex. Again, by injuring the elbow, he's not got enough arm power to counter. The good old-fashioned Juji Gatame, or arm breaker if you will, is locked in. But Tanahashi gets into a pin cover. We get a 2 count. And that's how the match ends. It's sneaky. And I hope we get a rematch before Tanahashi retires. I hope we get a rematch. But again, I like this one. Tanahashi picks his opponents really well. He doesn't twiddle his sore thumbs. He doesn't waste time. He just understands. Like, he understands he's a pro and it's coming to the end of his in-ring career. So what does he do? He goes looking for the opponents that seems to just make sense, that benefits them more than it benefits him, which is exactly how it should be. If that makes sense to you guys, if you understand what I mean. I hope that makes sense to you all. Absolutely. They should, because it shows how much they value the next generation more than just the current. But I think that's what we deserve in pro wrestling, is we deserve. Now, I've said it a lot, there's a lot of main talents that are just absolute dickheads. Tanahashi is the Japanese equivalent of, in terms of like kind-heartedness, as Steamboat. That's why he'll never be a heel. That's why he could never be a heel. It would never work, because we know what we get from Tanahashi. It's an extreme level of belief that is actually admirable. It's admirable. And I absolutely love that. Up next is the match that really caused a divide amongst predictions. Only 2 people got the next match correct. That was me and Fernando. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match featuring House of Torture against champions Master Wato and Yo. Now, this was clever. Now, me neither, Abel. It would just not work. I've watched him for years now. Like, yeah, I don't ever think you could work as a heel. And I actually tried to find ways he could become a heel, and I was like, it's like, nah, it just doesn't work. Like, Nakamura as a heel in New Japan is brilliant. As a babyface, perfect, but Tanahashi could just never be a heel. You would never believe it. You would literally give up. Now, this was clever. So, that match surprised me. 100% Maria. They had the most over wrestler in Japan. Besides Tanahashi and Styles. Well, at the time, because those three obviously were the most over talents. Nakamura came in with the best gimmick, like one of the best original gimmicks, and they fucking ruined it. Okada as well at the time, luckily, but they never got him. Naito was obviously on the re-emergence, but in terms of like the mainstream, it was those guys, and they fucking ruined Nakamura. I'll never forgive them for that. Never. So this match begins, again, it's entrance-wise. Show and, well, the brilliance that is Yoshinobu Kanemaru come to the ring. Kanemaru has his arm in a cast. Again, we don't know what's going on here, but it's actually very, very clever. This was a pre-match injury where Sho blames Master Wato for his submission efforts on Kanemaru and injures the man. And out comes the biggest shock in recent New Japan history. We got the most nuclear heel turn in so long. I'm not joking when I say my jaw dropped. We got the return of former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Dookie. Dookie has returned for the first time since Wrestle Kingdom, when he was forced to vacate his title against El Desperado. He has returned, and he has joined House of Torture, and by God, he looks defeated. And not in a bad way, like, he just looks defeated, like his soul is gone. And even more so was the commentary. The commentary were phenomenal on this match. They sold it like, look what they've done to our friend. Look what they've done to our Dookie. That level of impact is crazy. We've already seen Don Fail and Chase Owens defect from the Bullet Club. We knew that you would expect a defection during the tag match from either House of Torture or Bullet Club. Bullet Club have lost two big members, extremely weak, and for the first time since 2013, there will be no original members of Bullet Club in the faction. None. Which is mental. Like the active brand, like active roster in Japan, for the first time since 2013, there will be no more original members. Shocking. Incredibly shocking. So the Bullet Club War Dogs have got to regroup. But Dookie, one of the best junior heavyweights in New Japan. And Abil, you did say that you thought someone big was going to return. I thought maybe it would be during the two main title matches. But you were right. You expected a big return, and we got the big return. We got Dookie, and by God, Dookie looked amazing in this match. they battered Master Wow. They battered Yo Black and Blue at ringside. Kanemaru turned. It was a fake injury. He's not hurt. It was just him saying, I don't want to be in this match. I want Dookie involved. And they killed it. There was obviously main roster interference. There was lots of ref bumps. Dookie was playing the crowd. We then got the kendo stick in the Jack Daniels spot. Backfires a little bit. But we were treated to some great wrestling, and thank God that we did. Thank God that we did. Yo becomes isolated in the match. He does, however, make a hot tag to Sho. And I'm happy with that. Good hot tag, obviously. It's good for wrestling. It's good for the waking up the crowd, letting the crowd have some enjoyment. Of course, it's more so in the way that what else we got was crazy. And that's Sho and Kanemaru tried the whiskey screwdriver double spot, missed, and collide with each other. Dookie then brings in a pipe, gets Master Wato in the leg, and then put him in a hold that I don't know what you would call that, but he put his arm and knee into like some sort of like, it looked like a Indian deathlock without the flip over, or a front like a seated sharpshooter or something like that, or even a seated figure four. Like, he was trapped, he couldn't do anything, and he was wrenching at him. A big return, a big win, a title change. Honestly, I've got no clue what that move is, but I thought it was brilliant. That's three new members for the House of Torture. Don Fail, Chase Owens, and Dookie. I think right now, officially, House of Faction are the strongest faction in wrestling. I think it's cemented now. Does anyone agree with that, or does anyone disagree? I think House of Torture are now officially the strongest faction, because they were on the Wales for a while. But the fact that they made 3 big recruits, didn't lose any members either. They've gone on a warpath for recruitment, and they look so strong. And they've got an amazing presentation, and they're all great workers. Evil, for a long time, I hated the bastard just because I hated that. Well, he made me hate him, and I hated that he was constantly getting over pushed. But honestly, I'm starting to think like I'm becoming an Evil fan, which I never thought I would say. But I've always been a fan of Ren Narita. I've always liked Sonata. Dom Fail obviously is he's excellent. But to add in Dookie, one of my favourite competitors, you've got Sho, who never fails to deliver on the big stage. And Takahashi, like, what more can you say? Or can you expect? I really don't know. I'm going to take a very short break, guys. I'll be back in a moment. Do drop your comments in the chat. And I'll be back in 2 minutes. I am back, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. You guys all okay? Right. Abo said it in the chat and he wasn't particularly pleased about it, but he is right. So, here we go. United Empire versus Tai Chi and Tomohiro Ishii, IWGP Tag Team Champions. Okay, so this one starts obviously with Tai Chi versus Callum Newman. Tai Chi really had no answers for Callum Newman at the beginning of this match. Like the speed, the explosiveness, the arrogance of youth in his step really got to Tai Chi. Tai Chi didn't know how to respond here, which was excellent. Great-O-Khan, obviously, he's a heavy hitter. He knows how to use his body as a weapon. He really added to the extensive, well, in a way, the extensive bullying of Tai Chi. Obviously, he would sit on him, which is a classic Great-O-Khan move. He would have his opponent up against the turnbuckle. He would then sit directly on their neck. Don't care what anyone does when that kind of huge ass, because let's be real, he's a big man. He ain't have a small lower body frame. Like, that is one huge bloody truck sitting on you, squishing you. When you're stuck, how the hell do you get out of that? You don't until he lets you go. However, standard practice of a tag team, you make a fatal flaw. And that fatal flaw, you let the man tag out. And of course, Callum Newman and Great-O-Khan allow Tai Chi to tag in the Stone, Pitbull, Big Baldy himself. Tomohiro Ishii comes in, he just batters on Black and Blue. His patented vertical suplex. That man, when he drops you with a suplex, he is gonna drop you. He does not give no shit. And I've seen this guy firsthand. He is one of the heaviest hitters I've seen in pro wrestling. Ever. Manic, violent, brutal. Let me see more of it, because that's what I care about. And I fucking just loved how it went. Great-O-Khan, however, would get back up rather quickly from the suplex. He would use Ishii's own... well, he's not really quick anymore. But he does use the force of the momentum to get a big flip. And then locks in a hold. Callum Newman and Tai Chi get back in the match. Again, back and forth. Physical battle. And it was just really good to see. And I was honestly really impressed by it. Tai Chi, you know, when he builds up the excitement in him, he removes the long tights after the lariat. Brings out the trunks. But then falls to Great-O-Khan's hand, who just mugs him off. We get the shotgun knee from Callum Newman. Tai Chi's knocked outside the ring. Great-O-Khan obviously would just set himself to the best way possible. He would sacrifice his own body. Suicide dive. And we get a Spanish fly. I think the Spanish fly is becoming an overused move as well. But it's not enough. Because Tai Chi would get back in the ring. Great-O-Khan would limit his tag team partner as much as he can, just because he just does not clear the ring. And then Tai Chi gets the infamous Black Mephisto for the win. A fun contest. 12 minutes 45 seconds. Got no issue with that at all. I really like it. We get the big update for everybody, which you're all gonna, I think you all like. The G1 Climax 35 participants are announced. In Block A is the current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Hiroki Goto. He will compete alongside Bolton Oleg, Yuya Umura, at the time current IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion Yota Tsuji, Bullet Club War Dogs leader David Finlay, House of Torture leader Evil, House of Torture member Sanada, and the president of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi. They will be joined by 2 of the 4 winners of the play-in matches, which are to be determined. In Block B, IWGP IWGP World Television Champion, Neil said Ring of Honor there. IWGP World Television Champion El Phantasmo. He is joined by his partner on the night, Shota Umino. The main event world title challenger Shingo Takagi. Last year's IWGP champion and G1 winner. The quality that is Zack Sabre Jr. United Empire's opponent on the night, the infamous Great-O-Khan. Yota Tsuji's opponent, Gabe Kidd. House of Torture member Ren Narita. Konosuke Takeshita. And the final 2 winners of the play-in matches. So, champions, challengers, faction members, unofficial tag team partners, and 4 soon to be determined entrants into the G135. Ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts on the members, and who is your pick to win? Who do you think is going to the final? And who is your dark horse? So for me, my pick to win currently, I'm going David Finlay. I think he will be in the final. I think we're going to see back-to-back finalists. I think David Finlay will face Zack Sabre Jr. And my dark horse pick to win it. In fact, you can have 2 dark horses. My 2 dark horses are Takeshita because of his loss. And I'm also going... I'm going with Gabe Kidd. Now, Zodiac has come in and said Shingo, dark horse. Great shout. He's never won it. It'd be nice to see him win one. I think that's an excellent choice for a dark horse, my friend. And speaking of Shingo, this is for you. But I do have two fantastic images I'm going to be, well, three actually, that I'm going to be sharing very, very shortly. Up next, the sixth match on the main card, match number 7 overall, 13 minutes 12 seconds, and it did not fucking disappoint. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Never Openweight Championship match between Oleg Boltin, or Boltin Oleg, whatever way you prefer it, against the current... Oh, hold on. What? No. Oh dear. If you're a Formula 1 fan, Lando Norris has just crashed in the Canadian Grand Prix. He's out. Wow. I'm shocked. I'm very shocked. Mercedes, you better not fucking let me down. Boltin Oleg defeated Konosuke Takeshita. Here's an image for everybody before we review. I'm going to leave this one up because that's a great face. I'm going to leave that up. So, this was a heavy clash between two heavy hitters. Like I said, Boltin Oleg does not mince words. I know Zodiac was not happy by the result. Don't blame him. This was not for the weak at heart. This was manic. This was heavy hitting. And I love the fact that they used the whole surrounding area of the ring and the entrance ramp. But Boltin held his ground. Honestly, Takeshita gave him a lot to worry about. But the man from Kazakhstan had answers for everything that the Alpha could provide. Takeshita would take a Boltin bomb and just get straight back up and hit a Blue Thunder bomb into a Boston Crab. Not enough, of course, to get the submission win. At this point, Takeshita would try to get on the top, up to the top. Boltin would meet him there. Drops him to the mat. Takeshita, with a sleeper applied, tries to choke out Boltin with no success. And then we hit a lariat for lariat combination. And to wrap it off, to get the biggest win of his career to date, Boltin Oleg would secure the pinfall victory with the kamikaze. The rolling fireman's carry. And honestly, can I say this one thing about pro wrestling right now? It is good to see a different move be a finisher. Instead of the atypical shit like a brainbuster or a power bomb or a choke slam or a super kick or a pile driver or a diving move, someone using a rolling fireman's carry as a finish is long overdue. It's not been around in so long. That says a lot about this move. That is what I like about it. That's what I like about Boltin. It's not overly basic, but it's still effective. And both men got an amazing ovation. One of the loudest of the show. You'll see both men getting a huge appraisal by the Osaka crowd. This is a moment both men should be proud of. They should be both proud. They got a huge standing ovation. Up next, he may be a rebel, but he soon feels this. Oh yes, George Russell wins the Canadian Grand Prix. Get in. And no, he's not related. It's an awesome segment. Honestly, I really like Evil's use of a sharpshooter. I like the fact that he's gone back to the Sting version. Obviously, his version of it is called the Dark Scorpion. But this match here was intoxicating. It is the dog collar death match, not slightly standard rules. Of course. We didn't fully get the full use of the move. It's in the place where I wasn't too happy about. I didn't want this to be before the global match. I wanted it to be after. But and also in reality, I actually like that we didn't necessarily need it to be in that position, because Kid and Tsuji ended up following so spectacularly. But here we go. So both men come to the ring. Chains wrap round necks. Standard procedure. Finlay makes the first move. He yanks Evil like he's a dog on a leash. I think Evil's in a place now where you can't... If you change him, you lose him. He is New Japan's answer to dark and mysterious. He is that darkness character, and he does it wonderfully. And I think it's time that he tries and takes that to a whole different level. And I'm going to show you in a minute what I'm thinking. It might do him the world of good, but yes. So Finlay, use of the chain, yanks Evil to him into the corner, wraps his fist round him, starts heavy barrage of punches. Now, both the House of Torture and the remaining members of Bullet Club War Dogs are around the ring, as is Goto. We do get a bit of main roster fuckery with Goto, etc. in the ring, which is just absolutely funny. But we'll come to that. Smart tactics here by David Finlay. It was great brutality. Great brutality. There's a little bit of an entertainment here that I like. His tactics by David Finlay is why I've got him to win the G1. At least I hope so. I think it'll be him or Gabe Kidd anyway. Now this is what I like. He knows he's got such a small space with the chain, but he still wraps Evil round a ring post just to keep punching him. Now, of course, he does make one huge mistake. He lets him go. He lets Evil go. Obviously, he's got to let him go so he can actually end the match, but he lets him go too quickly whilst Evil is still conscious. In my opinion, Maybe not knock him out, but stun him. What's up, Sean? I think David Finlay made a huge mistake. Obviously it's the way the match was booked, which is understandable. But what I would have done is I would have Sanada. Sanada's got a chance here. He definitely has a chance. I personally would have had him knock him out or daze him. Or weaken the arms. Evil's arms are so big. David Finlay, the minute he let him go, it was over. Because the minute he let him go, Evil yanked Finlay into the ring post and that was it. Finlay was dazed at that point. At this point, it was match over. It was just waiting for Evil to just get in and finish the job. But we proceed. So, Show at ringside removes the turnbuckle pad. We got a steel chain attack from Evil on Finlay's face. David Finlay, of course, would show colour in this match. Evil puts David Finlay as well in the trio woe position. Whilst the referee, Marty Asami, is distracted by Evil, the House of Torture get a chance to choke Finlay, which is clever. And then after that, it's a little bit of a comeback from David Finlay. He does tear into Evil, particularly the balls. He does get a good ball shot on him. Not yet. When he's 50. The landlord of House of Torture, that is Evil. He calls himself the one true president of New Japan. He's through outside onto his stalemates because of a big power bomb. It was seriously well done. He does wrap him again. The House of Torture, of course, try to interfere. No avail. The War Dogs get involved. Evil does remove the collar, which is clever. Obviously, it allows the group to get involved. He then obviously protects enough. Some of it, but not all of it. One of the moves this match, I love this move. I'm sick of saying it. I absolutely love the Oblivion move, but it's not enough for the win. He does get a couple of power bombs, but it was too little too late at this point because at this point Finlay was destroyed. Using the chain, the Darkness Scorpion or the Sharpshooter to many was locked in. And Finlay didn't tap out. He was choked out by way of a Sharpshooter or Darkness Scorpion chain wrapped round the neck. For 23 minutes, that was not bad. The problem is, in a death match, the referee is meant to count to 10 after a submission or a pinfall victory, which he did not do. He just immediately called for the bell because David Finlay was choked out. Didn't even give him a fair chance. Just, nah, he's out. Let's just carry on. A match that went 20 seconds longer. Not kidding, it literally went 20 seconds longer. IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. I love this belt. Challenger Gabe Kidd versus the champion Hiroshi. Just kidding. The champion Yota Tsuji. Gabe Kidd, of course, standing pixelated. But this is what I like right here. what a way to present your champion on the way to the ring. Now, a couple of minutes ago, I said something very important. I said, how would I produce Evil a little bit to the ring? Well, kinda in Chu, he does have the same black. Well, he has purple light and Tsuji has black. But the way that Tsuji comes to the ring, and then when he's in the ring. Now, I like how Tsuji does this. Red hat. Exactly. The red fedora hat. The red leather jacket. I think the way he looks with his full body attire, if you do that all in black with the purple lighting, you could take Evil to an even bigger platform. He already wears a black, like, huge coat anyway. You put a black hat on him, Evil becomes the scariest looking wrestler in New Japan. And Evil can wrestle. He has a look. He's got a mystique. He's got a strong gimmick. You add a hat to that looks right. How can you realistically stop Evil at that point? One more time, the presentation of Yota. It's that kind of presentation that I think maybe they're missing that out with Evil. But I still like his look and his presentation anyway. I'm enjoying it a whole lot more. There's something about it. For 23 minutes 25 seconds, these two don't mince words. I have an issue with Gabe Kidd though. Which didn't make sense. Now, both men back in February wrestled to a time limit draw. This time, in the ring, Gabe Kidd isn't himself. Which I find pretty weird. It was almost like Gabe Kidd had become a whole different wrestler. He went from his heavy-hitting, hard, fast-paced style, and he started wrestling like someone out of WWE. He started catering more to the crowd, which is not what he does. Which I don't understand is why he did that. Like, I don't honestly get why he did that in such a way. But it seemed to work for him because Yota Tsuji, at key moments in the match, didn't have an answer. It's almost like changing your style on purpose seemed to have saved your match. In a way, he has evolved, yeah. Is it for the better? I don't know. But it's led to his first major singles title. So he definitely can get the result that he wants. He can get the reward. This was an amazing contest. I like the split between himself as a war dog and himself as a Death Rider. Like, he split his style for them as well, which was really cool. And that is something that I really do appreciate in a wrestler. If they can do that, then it makes them more complete. And I thought that was really well done. Like, I really, really did. There was outside the ring. There was a lot of outside the ring. Suicide dives, Tope con Hilos. Yeah, it does. I agree. There's Tope con Hilos, Tope con Sujis, which is literally true. There's T triggers. Pile driver attempts at ringside, which nearly goes to the count of 20. We get to a 19 count before both men get back in the ring. Stiff punches back and forth. Gabe Kidd really does give a stiff punch, especially to the one that he hit right in the back of the head. But then Suji with one right to the liver area is insane. Suji's thrown to the outside of the ring. Comes back in thinking he's got an immediate chance of recovery. Eats a lariat. But then the most annoying move in professional wrestling, Suji hits a super kick which sends Gabe Kidd outside. Suji hits a Tope Suicida. Tries to take advantage but eats a tombstone pile driver. Gabe Kidd would then proceed to take Suji back into the ring. He would use the giant swing into a Boston Crab, which was very, very different. Suji would of course get to the ropes. They traded shots with each other, and then I might have a picture for it, but there's a bloody heavy headbutt. Gabe Kidd gets headbutted right in the chin, and he fucked him up. That was a hell of a headbutt. Doesn't do much, of course, because he hits two Gene Blasters, the second best spear in wrestling. But then Suji would win the. Suji would then lose his championship to a Death Rider pile driver combination, which grants us a new global champion, the one and only Gabe Kidd. And immediately he does the right thing. He doesn't settle for no random opponent. He wants the opponent. The one and only president of New Japan, the ace Hiroshi Tanahashi, has been challenged for a global heavyweight title match, whenever that may be. All I'm going to say is, fair play Gabe Kidd. Going after the boss on his retirement tour. One thing is for sure, Tanahashi will put Gabe over. He will put him over. And I am really excited for that. I think that could be that could probably be the best match of his final run. Depends on who else we get for Tanahashi, but we might end up getting the best match of his final run against someone that he personally wants to see go to the very top. And I think that's incredible. Speaking of the very top, he refereed the semi-main event He referees the main event. Red shoes. One of the best referees in the business. There is no match special in New Japan without red shoes. He's got perfect timing. He's got perfect awareness. And he's not afraid to let a match go. So, we are in for a treat. And a treat of the masses. It is the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship main event match. Champion Hirooki Goto versus his number one challenger, former champion Shingo Takagi. Both men are, well, luckily the Japanese don't chant meat. But if this was an American crowd, they probably would. Because these two men are built like bricks. And honestly, right now, when you look at a veteran aspect, when you look at a faith in talent perspective, when you look at who you can have top tier main event matches with for your world championship, you can't go wrong with Hirooki Goto and Shingo Takagi. And also, I'm glad that Hirooki Goto is getting his flowers. He only ever had one world title match before he won the title against Zack Sabre Jr. and he was unsuccessful. He's only ever won the G1 once. In 2008. Shingo Takagi has never won the G1. But he has headlined Wrestle Kingdom. He has headlined Dominion before. He has main evented major events for New Japan and represented the company spectacularly. Goto, with the Goto Revolution, is doing the very same. And he's doing it his way. And I am so glad to see Goto as world champion. I don't know when it's going to end. I hope he gets a Wrestle Kingdom main event. But the odds are not in his favor yet. So, the match begins with the chop fest. And not in a chop fest of it's just one man chopping. It's both men back and forth chopping each other. But Goto gets a very heavy chop that forces him off back into the ropes. He fires off, hits a shoulder tackle that near enough wipes the challenger out. He wipes him out. Forcing him to recover, regain a step, recover his breathing, compose himself. We get a tornado DDT and a lariat which sends Goto outside of the ring. On the ramp, Takagi doesn't waste any time. He follows. Goto hits a suplex and then a standing senton on the back. Again, there's no rest for the wicked from the challenger, which I really do appreciate. Goto at this point doing the best he can. He does get back up, hits a lariat. Back in the ring, and then he goes, it doesn't even last long, it's straight back out. And he gets back in at the count of 18. Goto goes for his finishing maneuver, the GTR. Not a Nissan, but he definitely moves like a Nissan GTR. Shingo avoids it and hits another lariat. Another lariat comes in. And then we get an Ushigoroshi. Goto hits the GTW. Get the win. And the GTR with no success. Takagi was close to success as well when he hit a Last of the Dragon. He gets the pumping bomber and the burning dragon. Again, Goto kicks out. It does become an attempt at this point. It just becomes back and forth, like who can hit their finisher next. Just every opportunity you can get, they're hitting their finisher, they're not hitting their finisher. Whichever way you can do it, they're going for it. Which I'm alright with. Goto then hits a shooting Kai. He then hit a lariat. But unsuccessfully goes to a sliding pumpkin bomber. GTR again. Takagi kicks out. As we get to the 30-minute time limit, Takagi makes a fatal mistake. And Goto then hits one more GTR for the win. Great match. Loved the main event. And I love that after the main event, we got this at the press conference. We got a sit down from the champion saying he's got a few things on his chest that he has to fix, he has to resolve. Otherwise, the Goto revolution doesn't mean anything. The Goto revolution goes through one more opponent. A rematch from the double. Goto's one blemish on his title reign. He has one blemish, and that was the double draw, double counter draw that he had with Zack Sabre Jr. Not anymore. They will have a rematch, and it will happen before the G1 starts. So whenever, wherever, we will review it. And just look at the intensity in his eyes. Look at the intensity in the eyes of the champion. So cool. A few other posts for you. There is the, obviously, excuse me. Obviously that is a moving hand, but that is the free count. It is the longest title defense yet for the champion. Whoever he's got next are going to try and take him to the limit. Picture of Oleg Bolton. Again, just recapping, here's your participants for the G1. There you go. We are getting that rematch very, very soon. We are going to get the third match. Because obviously Goto won the title from Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. got his obligatory rematch and it went to a draw. I think Goto was going to beat Zack Sabre Jr. and retain the title. And I think he'll go longer than... I think he'll go about 30 minutes. What else have we got? Oh, that was me taking the mick out of StreamYard. Here's a question. Did I go through the news from the NWA recently? Before I give you guys a brilliant option. Okay, I'll give you this now because this is crazy. This is good though. So this was announced last week. The owner and president of the NWA, Bill Corgan, announced that the NWA have their first TV deal in 25 years. They have signed with Roku. Their show NWA Power is going to be shown on Roku. I haven't seen a start date yet though. But they have confirmed that they will now be the new home for the NWA. And I'm glad for them. They need one. I'm sick of their shows just being on YouTube. They deserve a chance to be on a proper network. So, yes. The biggest streaming platform in North America is Roku. Number one streaming platform, I should say. And they've got that. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the fun part to end for the show. Because that's your great TV, that's your great review, sorry. And I hope you all enjoyed it. So now you've got a choice. And I'm going to put it in the chat. As a poll. And I want you guys, before you pick, to think wisely. In the chat, obviously if we do choose the gaming stream, I will need to go to the PlayStation, so it'll be a new stream. But at least it means we'll beat up Pat McAfee. Currently we have 3 votes. 2 for the gaming stream, 1 currently for the Q&A. Tomorrow is your watch along stream, don't worry. Like the main watch along stream series that we do. Tomorrow's the next episode. Keep this going for another 5 minutes. Ooh. Someone's deliberating a vote between Q&A and destroying Pat McAfee. Q&A, looks like people don't want to bully Pat McAfee. You guys really don't want Pat McAfee to get bullied. I'm very surprised about that. I was going to put him in Hell in a Cells, casket matches. I was going to put him in Hell in a Cells, casket matches, steel cage matches, last man standing. I was going to put him in all sorts. But it looks like the Q&A is actually beating him. So we're stuck. The Q&A is destroying him. We just don't want to be reminded Pat McAfee exists at all. I know, that's why I want to beat him out of existence. We do have 2 more minutes. Two more minutes. As it stands, it's going to be the Q&A. Apple. I would say there's about a minute and a half left, or a minute plus anyway. Almost there. One minute left. Yep. Looks like it's going to be that. I think he will, yeah. Well, in that case, let's do it. It's time. We're going to do Q&A, ladies and gentlemen. So, end of the show, Q&A. Your time starts now. Which wrestling moments belong in Hell and Heaven? Montreal Screwjob belongs in Hell. Goldberg kicking Bret Hart's head belongs in Hell.
Hulk Hogan losing to The Rock belongs in heaven because it's nice to see him lose at WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels' career ending belongs in heaven. Yeah, that's another one. The end of an era moment belongs in hell. Austin and McMahon moment belongs in heaven because it's actually well done. This Is Your Life, Rock and Mankind belongs in heaven. The Austin 316 promo belongs in heaven. Mankind flying off the Hell in a Cell cage belongs in heaven. Kane and Undertaker's debuts belong in heaven. Muhammad Hassan's segment with Taker leading up to the Great American Bash belongs in hell. Brock Lesnar's shooting star press just because it backfired, that belongs in hell. Bash at the Beach 96 belongs in heaven. That also belongs in heaven as well. Bryan Danielson winning the AEW title by his reaction afterwards belongs in heaven. Yeah, I agree with that, Abo. But yeah, it's pretty much those. Oh, Kurt Angle's TNA debut belongs in heaven. Hulk Hogan's TNA debut belongs in hell. All of Deonna Purrazzo's title reigns belong in heaven. Vince Russo and David Arquette becoming world champions belongs in hell. And the moment where Shane buys WCW and storyline belongs in hell. Oh, Kurt Angle's milk moment belongs in heaven, just like the Austin beer bash on the corporation. What else you got for me, folks? Come on, give me some really hard wrestling questions. Come on, give me some really hard ones. Like, that'll really, really test me. Lesnar breaking the streak and staying hell. Yeah. Cena winning the 16th and 17th world titles can go to hell. Finger Poke of Doom can go to hell. And Hulk Hogan, Politic, and Starcade 97 can go to hell. If Bret Hart never took that kick from Goldberg and retired, what matches would you like to have seen him in? WrestleMania 18 versus Kurt Angle. Then Bret versus Rock. Bret versus Rock at their peak. Bret versus Lesnar. Bret versus Shelton Benjamin. Bret versus AJ Styles. because I think he would have done a short run in TNA. Brett versus Christopher Daniels. Brett versus Amazing Red. Brett versus Samoa Joe. Brett versus Chris Jericho. Brett versus William Regal. Brett versus Taker again. Brett versus Batista. Brett versus Edge, then Brett versus Christian. Brett versus Jeff Jarrett in TNA. Brett versus Bobby Roode. Brett versus Pete Williams. And then maybe a short stint Ring of Honor and he gets the likes of Kenny Omega. Low Key, Jay Lethal. A match with Eric Young, maybe? And just because it'd be interesting to see Brett versus Nick Aldis. And Brett versus Kane properly. I don't think he would have went past 2010. I think he would have stopped in 2010. So maybe Sami Zayn as El Generico and Kevin Steen, but that's it. I don't think he would have got anyone else. I think he would have went up to 2010. That would be it. Because Brett wasn't that old when he retired either. So I think Brett would have slowed down, but still would have went to about 52, 53. If you were booking a Forbidden Door event for WWE, what matches would you book? Depends. Who else do I have access to? Like, is this where all promotions actually come together and there's no mucking about? Or what's your parameter? Like, how would you base this? All promotions. All right, okay. Well, let's do this. So I would have. Actually, I'll show you. I'll do it as a spreadsheet so you can see it as I'm typing. Omega versus Rollins would be amazing, but that's not the match I'm booking. Let me see. So we're currently on 50 minutes, 10 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. Let me get this. I want to do it this way. Are these current talents, Fernando, or can just be any wrestler? Current. Okay, that's fine. I'll show you. 2 seconds. In fact, what I'll do is I'll use this screen. So it takes me out. And you tell me what you guys think. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so I'll do it this way. Oh, one more, hold on. I would love to add Bull, but it's all the major world champions right now. Or listed. Number 2. For one night only. I just realised I forgot a world champion. Hold on. Which is horrific of me. Hold on. Nah, bad call. I've already got an AEW talent. Hmm. took me 29 minutes. What do we think? 3-night event. I'm probably a bit mental, but 7 matches each, 3 nights of wrestling. Thank you, Maria. Not gonna lie, I'm actually gonna keep that. Actually, I'm gonna add a few more things in. Where is it? Proper wrestling as well. Yeah, he's alright. I would do both. I would do both. Right. Back to this. I think I've actually done I think I've just done the best. I could add match types to these matches, but I just gave you some great stuff. That's all in my head, floating about, based on people who are active. So obviously I couldn't include Darby Allin and all that stuff. So, and Jay White, who would have been on my card. Ugh. but we have 17 minutes 20 seconds remaining. Whew. To be fair, the poll, the Q&A absolutely decimated the rest of it. So if Macho Man was welcome back to WWE like Hogan, everyone was, what matches would you like to see him in? Macho Man versus Kurt Angle. Obviously he stopped wrestling more or less from 2004, so I'm basing on 04. So Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, JBL, Undertaker, Kane, Brock Lesnar, Triple H, so he can beat him up, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, The Rock, one last match with Mr. Perfect. Rey Mysterio, Chris Benoit. To be honest, I would. Randy Orton. Chris Jericho. Rob Van Dam. Shelton Benjamin. And a match where he bullies Vince McMahon. To be fair, if he was around with Hogan as well, I would have him in a match with Hogan just so he can screw Hogan. What the hell? Looks like there's issues going around with Roxanne Perez. That's really creepy. This is interesting from the. So apparently, private parties AEW deals are up very soon as well. Hmm. Oh, you're evil, Fernando. Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle had a trilogy and both were tied one apiece. Who are you booking to win the rubber match and why? Ah, I'm not. Can't do it. 60 minute 60-minute Iron Man match. Both men get one fall apiece. Both men go for their respective finishes in the last minute. Kurt has the ankle lock locked in. Brett rolls through into a sharpshooter. And before he gets Kurt locked in, the ref calls for the bell. Well, the time, like the buzzer goes. It ends 1-1. That's it. So the ankle lock's locked in. Brett rolls through. He does like the roll through, shoves Kurt off with both feet. He manages to get up. Kurt runs at him. He does a single-legged takedown, rolls Kurt's legs into the position, and as he's turning, ding, ding, ding. That's it. Wouldn't surprise me at this moment, Maria. I think they might be, yeah. I think they might be. If they do go, at least you've got a decent tag team, but I don't think they fit in. Like, it's a decent tag team, but where do they fit in? I don't know. Mount Rushmore of Canadian talent. Bret Hart. Kenny Omega. Chris Jericho. Roddy Piper. I don't like the person, but as a wrestler, you can't deny him. I would have to say the last one is Chris Benoit. If I'm allowed to put 5 on there, Owen Hart. Mount Rushmore of WCW wrestlers: Sting, Hollywood Hogan, Ric Flair, DDP. I hate Hogan, but sadly he's up there because of what he brought to WCW. I'll never like him, but I have to be honest about that Mount Rushmore for WCW. It's a no-brainer. Mount Rushmore of TNA: AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett, AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett, Samoa Joe, and this one I can't go without not saying no. Gail Kim. For me, there's 5. In fact, I'll put 5 for WCW as well because he brought attention to it. The 5th one I have to say is Goldberg. I'll do 5. I'm not doing 4. I'll do 5. Mount Rushmore of ECW: Raven, Sabu, RVD, Taz. So Raven, Sabu, RVD, Taz. I'm leaving this. This is a tough choice. The last one. Sorry, Shane Douglas. I'm going with Sandman. Even though Shane Douglas is in my top 3 favorite ECW wrestlers, I have to. Sandman's entrance changed the whole bloody thing. It's impossible. And I hate that because I have to leave out. Actually, hold on. I'm taking one off. I'm dropping Sandman for Cactus Jack. Sorry, Sandman. Mount Rushmore of championship belts: the original big gold belt, IWGP Intercontinental title, Big Eagle, and the original TNA World title. and then I'll put another one in there. Lastly, the fifth one, the IWGP title that Okada held, version 4. Those are my 5. They're the 5 best belts. White strap IC titles up there as well, but it's crazy. White strap Intercontinental title is one of my favourites. Mount Rushmore of wrestling attire. Well, Bret Hart's prime attire from like '97 Bret. Ministry of Darkness Undertaker. Original Kane. Kenny Omega from Dominion 2018. And '96 to '98 Mankind. Jushin Thunder Liger's green Power Ranger outfit's another one up there for me. It's on that list too. They get etched 6 in stone. Mount Rushmore of New Japan matches. Great shout. Okay, let me stop that then. So Mount Rushmore of New Japan matches. Okay, so Nakamura versus Tanahashi, Wrestle Kingdom 9. Okada versus Omega, 2 out of 3 falls. Nakamura versus AJ, Wrestle Kingdom 10. And next one, Jericho versus Omega, Wrestle Kingdom in 2018. And then finally, Chris Jericho versus Naito, no DQ. Intercontinental title. I've got 5 matches. Those are my 5 favourites ever. Like I won't deviate from them. Those are my 5 favourites. It's hard for me to just pick 4, so I always go for 5. I hate that people say, "Oh, Mount Rushmore's got to be 4." I always go 1 extra. I'll do 1 more, and then after that, I'm gonna tap out. I'll do 1 more, and that's it. And I'll upload a match or 2 as well tonight. I'm thinking
I'll do AJ versus Shawn Michaels. 94 Shawn Michaels. And then I'll do Rock and Austin versus Hogan and Andre. The best version of Jericho. For me, it's either heel Jericho in 2008, like when he was dressed as Nick Bockwinkel, so 08, 09 into 2010, and New Japan Jericho when he left, when he became like, when he done the Omega match and he became the Painmaker, and then his first year of AEW as World Champion. So between Wrestle Kingdom in 2018 up until Revolution 2020, those are the best versions of Jericho for me. Early 2000s Jericho as well was incredible. And I'll leave it at that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching tonight. I really do appreciate it. It's been an absolute amazing show. Yous are all incredible. I will see you all tomorrow for more exciting Steelchair content, which is Prediction Show. And you know what that means? It means we get the fun. Bye guys, see you tomorrow.
Take it off in my arms, it's the soul of me. You walk by.